Hello. Well, I'm back on some head porting, and these heads are for one of our YouTube friends, and they are a pair of Dart Pro 1 heads, which are a very good head. But if guys are taking these heads and just taking them out of the box and putting them on their vehicle, if they've never had any kind of finessing or anybody that does head work go over them, then you're probably losing a lot of horsepower. And if not losing horsepower, the most important thing is you're definitely have some detonation problems and hot spots. And I'm going to show you why. Had to flip the head over here, guys, so bear with me. Holding the phone with one hand and doing this with the other. All the areas in this combustion chamber from the factory, they are all sharp edges. Now I've finessed this a little bit already and rounded these hot spots in, and I have a lot more to do still, but any area you see here is a detonation problem. So all these areas that have high peaks, and some of it don't really show up as crucial here on video, but they're very sharp edges and spots, and around the seat even. So they're areas you want to take care of. Now I wanted to show this. Here is a flow problem out of the box. I don't know if you can really tell on video here, but this dips way down by the seat. Now the seat's angled back for flow, but what you have, this is almost like I consider to be a ditch. So if you see where it's machined right there, and you put your finger in there, you can feel it's a very bad dip right here where it's machined, and that's not good for performance. So whenever you have areas like this here, it's best to even this kind of stuff out. Now if you cut this back some right here, you're going to reduce your hot spot right here. So if you see, that's where this becomes very sharp. So this head here is about halfway done. This head here is about 80% done. So I want to show you the difference. As you can see, I leveled all this in right here, and it has a nice smooth contour into the seat. So it's a big difference. If you can see now, I don't know if it's going to show up so well on video, but if not, guys, take my word for it. This is a big difference for flow. Now the problem you have is this. Hello. The problem you have is this. If you have a low compression engine and you buy a pair of heads, the last thing you want to do is start modifying the combustion chamber and lose what little bit of compression you have. Like if you have like a stock 302, which this has a little upgrade to it, this engine, these heads are going on, we have a little bit to play with compression. But on a stock factory setup, you're low compression. So you don't want to do any more to the combustion chamber than you have to. But now on the other side of the coin, that's as far as compression. if you want a very efficient head, you have to look at it this way. You don't have to. This is how I look at it. I get the combustion chamber where it's very efficient and where it comes off as being as smooth as possible. The contour is what I mean, where it bends around your valve seat and all that, all tapered and nice. So I can't really worry about the compression when I do that. And every time I take that way of thinking, that train of thought rather, I've always had a customer tell me that the engine ran extremely well, even if it was low compression. And especially with where they were able to run their timing and things like that. The important thing is making power. And that's always the reason we have a head done, is to make as much power as we can. Otherwise, you might as well save your money. But I always try to push how crucial the combustion chamber is. A lot of guys, they don't take that into consideration too much. And to me, if you're not thinking about doing anything with the combustion chamber when it has places where you have detonation, well, you're not going to run your timing where you want it, so you're going to lose power. So if you put a head on and say you gain 50 horsepower and then you lose 10 or 15, maybe 20 horsepower due to where you can't run your timing, do you want to buy a head for $2,000 or $1,000 and only pick up 30 horsepower if you're able to get 50 to 60 horsepower? They're just numbers I'm throwing at you. It could be more, it could be less. I think you get my point. My point is this, and I'll make it simple, because I'm simple. Why leave horsepower on the table? And you might think, well, I paid a lot of money for these heads already. I don't want to have to pay a guy to have to go over these. Some of these areas, if you use common sense, you can do yourself. So it's one of them deals where you might say, well, I don't really know what I'm doing. I don't want to push the point with trying to do something like that myself. And that's fine. Because sometimes you'll save money by paying somebody else. If you cause yourself problems doing the pair of cylinder heads, and you have to pay somebody to straighten them out, and I'm kind of doing that here, because another fella got in here and thought he was helping some horsepower gains. But my point is this: you don't want to hinder your head if you really don't know what you're doing either. But if you think you're able to do your own work and blend some things in, then it all depends on the person. It never hurts to do it if you have the skills to do it. Now, I know one guy, he's not a porter. He doesn't port heads or intakes or anything like that. But he did do his own work on an intake a while back. And he had a car back in the day with a big block Ford in it. And that intake looked like it was professionally done. But the guy also has a natural knack for that stuff. He takes after his father. His father was very good, always doing above average work with his vehicles, always super clean stuff, and some very cool things his dad did with some vehicles. But my point is this: only you know what you're capable of. And if you're unsure, well, then you might not want to try doing these things yourself. So I always try to look after the guy that may be considering doing this kind of stuff himself. But it's hard to tell somebody something when you don't know the person. So that's what makes it tough for a guy like me, because I want to help. I don't want to see anybody make a mistake, especially with a pair of high dollar cylinder heads. So any head's bad enough, even if it's your stock head and you mess it up and you have to find another one, or don't have access to a junkyard and You have to buy a new factory head even. Stuff's not cheap anymore, guys. We just don't go walk down the street like we used to and find 30 different cars that had the same engine in it. That them days are gone, unfortunately. So I think most of you fellas understand that. But anyway, I hope this video might be helpful to you. And I'll show you one more time, guys. Hopefully you can see the difference. How, like I said, this has a low spot right here. Okay. Probably the light's reflecting. I don't know how good this is going to come out on video, guys. And all you want to do is concentrate on the high peak. You don't want to just flatten everything out. You want to concentrate on where it's high, like it's high here. So you just concentrate on taking that lip off and you blend it in. You don't want to start milling all this way down, and you just want to let your sanding roll work on the area that's sticking up, is my point. You don't want to just go crazy and start grinding the combustion chamber. I can show you what I used right here for this on some of it. Now some I used sanding roll, and if you use a sanding roll you want to make sure that this isn't happening. Like this sanding roll I was using on something else a while ago, but you always want to make sure your tip isn't sticking out, because if you're using this here and this is sticking out there, that's not good for your seat. So you can use different types. Use a cone shape and just do the high peak like that. You want to make sure you're just laying it flat, and it's best to put a valve in here if you have one laying around. In this case I don't, but in this case I believe the guy's going to also have a valve job done anyway. So here's another way to do it too. You can use something like this here, and the same deal, you have to make sure you're not nicking your seats all up. You just want to concentrate on the area. But see, this here contour is very nice. So as you can see, if that was running in here, try to show you guys, and I have a phone call coming through and it's blocking my view here. It's one of my best friends calling me, but I'll call you back. I've done this video a few times and not really knowing if you guys could see the difference here, and I actually didn't post the videos. But regardless of how this video turns out, as far as being able to see, at least I can give you the information, and then you can use your own way of thinking and use your own eyes and see what you guys have going on, and then you know what to do with it. It's common sense, guys. It really is. Now, like I started pointing out before, and I got sidetracked with my own thinking. I started to show you how this is deep here, and that's a detonation spot. When you angle this back, that detonation spot is gone. So just that alone, if you're thinking, well, I'm not really worried about the flow, well, then think about the detonation. Okay, so I'm sure you can see that, I hope. And like, this is deep, guys. This isn't something to just take lightly. So I wish I could give you guys a little bit more professionalism here, but with your friend Terry here, this is as good as it gets. And like I said, this is very smooth, and the light might make this look like there's still a high peak here, and it's rounded off compared to that. Not so good. Better. So with that, I hope that would help you out some. And also these little buggers right here, I might as well show you this. These work great for areas like this here in your bowl. I was going to do a separate video on this, but I might as well give you guys as much information as I can. When you do a bowl area, this right here, believe it or not, will show you how many low spots you have. Now, this would not kill anything off as far as like being perfect, but the smoother you get this exhaust port bowl area and the better you shape it. As you can see, this one's more contoured in, it's blended in better. This one's about halfway there. So the dark areas, that would be a low spot in that bowl. I don't know if you can see or not, but anywhere you see like a dark area, that is a low spot. Now what you don't want to do is keep grinding trying to get something out, because you don't want to make it thin. You just want to blend these areas in and make them better. So don't be in there like some of these guys you see on YouTube that don't really know how to port heads. Even if they do know how to port heads and they're doing something pushing the envelope, you don't want to imitate that. My point is this: use common sense and just blend things in and make it better. The heads are never probably ever going to be as good as we want them, and that goes clear to the top with anybody. I think every porter has to finally say, you know, I think that's where I'm going to have to leave it. Because we're never content with what we do when it comes to porting heads and making areas how we like them to be, and we're only able to make them how they can be in a lot of cases. So with that, guys, I think I've rambled enough. I hope I showed you a couple things here that might help you out, and I do have to get back to work here and get these heads done because I'm a little behind on these things. I thought I had these finished last week, and I'm going to be probably till the end of the week knocking these out. So with that, thanks for watching. I appreciate your support. Appreciate all you new subscribers, and any questions, guys, just send me a little message down bottom there and I'll try to get back to you. All right, with that, I want to say God bless and thanks, everybody. Take care.